Hey guys, Happy New Year! It's finally 2024 and this is my first video of the year, and I figured what better way to start the video than with a pizza margherita, or at least my version of a pizza margherita. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Okay, so like all of my past pizza videos, the first thing we're going to do is make the dough. So I'm starting with some bread flour, some salt, some yeast, and some water, and that's literally it. That's all I'm using. I'm keeping it very simple. When it comes to a pizza like this, you don't want to overcomplicate things. You don't want to add any herbs or spices to your dough. You want to use as little ingredients as possible, and that's what we're going to be doing here. And also, instead of using my stand mixer, I decided to do this by hand. It's actually been a very long time since I've made dough by hand. I've been using the stand mixer for a while now, and I figured, hey, let's go back to the old days and just do it by hand, you know, like how a Nona would make it. But I'm just kneading everything on the counter. I'm just going to roll that into a ball and give that a little press, and if it springs back, it means it's done. And I'm just going to take a oiled bowl here. I'm going to stick my dough in there, and I'm going to cover it with some plastic wrap, and I'm actually going to put this in the fridge for 24 hours. And if you don't want to wait that long, leaving it at room temperature for about 2 hours is okay. Now, traditionally, pizza margherita is made with crushed up San Marzano tomatoes and a little bit of salt. Now, admittedly, San Marzano tomatoes are a little on the expensive side, and I wanted to make a more budget-friendly version of this pizza, so you can still save some money and make a delicious pizza. And when I say budget-friendly, I really do mean it. I got this small can of sauce from the store for less than $1. I'm going to pour all of this into a small saucepan. I'm going to put in a little bit of butter, some salt, and some onion powder, and that is it. I am keeping it very, very simple. I'm not even going to cook this sauce all the way. I'm literally just heating it up on the stove until the butter melts completely and we get a nice, smooth, rich-looking sauce. Next up is our cheese. This is fresh mozzarella, and this is going to be the most expensive thing you buy, but it's not terribly expensive if you get just 8 ounces of it. And I'm just going to cut this up a little bit, and if you notice, this cheese is pretty liquidy, and we want that moisture out. So what I did was, after cutting it up, I put it on some paper towel, and I patted it dry as best as I could until I didn't see any more liquid. And that looks pretty good. I'm just going to put that in a bowl, put some more paper towel on top, and put that in the fridge until I'm ready to make my pizza. It's finally the next day, and I'm ready to make my pizza. This dough is looking pretty good. It smells great, very yeasty, and I just got a little bit more flour and rolled that up into a ball. I'm cutting this in half because this recipe makes 2 pizzas, and I'm going to advertise this knife real quick. This is an Ooh Fun knife that I got from my friend Xavier for Christmas. Xavier, thank you very much. I love this knife. I've already used it many, many times, and I had to show it off in this video, so thank you so much. You will be seeing this knife in future videos. Okay, so I'm going to oil my cast iron pan because this is how I make pizza now, and I'm going to put my dough into the pan and spread it out all the way, and I'm going to let that sit while I let my oven preheat. After it's done preheating, we can go ahead and put this on the stove and let the bottom cook a little bit, and this is going to cook for about 3 or 4 minutes. Just make sure you check you don't want it to overcook, and if you see any bubbles, go ahead and press those down. And after that's done, take it off the heat, and I'm going to put on my sauce, and I'm only putting on the sauce right now. And this is going to go in a 550-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 6 minutes. After that, take it out of the oven. This is looking pretty good, but it is not done yet. It's time to put the cheese on. And the reason why I'm putting on the cheese now is because I didn't want it to burn, so I didn't put it on at the very beginning. And I'm also putting on fresh basil, and yes, I'm putting this in the oven too, but it's okay because I'm putting the cheese on top of the basil. And this keeps the basil from overcooking in the oven. And this next ingredient is completely optional, but I'm putting on some fresh tomato, and this is a plum tomato, and I chose this because plum tomatoes have less liquid than other tomatoes. And this is going to go right on top, and I'm going to make sure that I don't put too much on, just a few slices, and then I'm going to season it with some salt and pepper. It's good to season your tomatoes because they can be kind of bland. And this is going to go back into that 550-degree Fahrenheit oven for another 6 or 7 minutes. And before you know it, you have yourself a good-looking pizza. Drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top, and I figured while I was at it, I added a little bit more fresh basil on top, for looks and for flavor. Alright, now that's looking good. Okay, now it's time to slice into this thing. I can't wait. I always love using the cast iron pan for pizzas because I get that nice brown bottom. And look at those air bubbles. Those look so good. When you let the dough rise for a very long time, these are the results you get. And it ends up tasting just as good as it looks. But how does it sound? Yeah, that sounds good to me. And this may be an Americanized version of pizza margherita, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with changing the formula. And sometimes you gotta change the formula to accommodate other people's palates. Is it traditional? No. Is it tasty? Definitely. Alright guys, Happy New Year. I hope you all enjoyed this one. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.